Human apathy claims another life, this time in the state of Karnataka. A teen cyclist who met with an accident bleeds to death after he was left unattended for 40 minutes in Koppal district of Karnataka. A 30-kilometer-long oil spill off Chennai coast threatens marine life and fishermen's livelihood. 5 days on, ill-equipped locals and coast guards get together to clear the oil slick. Politicians, meanwhile, indulge in blame games. Finally, a breakthrough. Conclusive leads emerge in the rape and murder of the 24-year-old physiotherapist from Vileparle in Mumbai. The police have a suspect, and a DNA check is up next. Fine print of Budget 2017 reveals a 2 lakh cap on interest deduction from the second home loan. We break it down for you here on the show. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Magic Bricks Now. I am Krishna Kumar. A shocking incident of human apathy in the state of Karnataka is indeed the big story. In Koppal, a 19-year-old cyclist bled to death as onlookers went on to record videos instead of helping him. The deceased, Anwar Ali, was riding a bicycle when a state transport bus hit him. Anwar repeatedly asked pedestrians to help, but they refused to oblige and were seen recording the incident instead.
It's a very tragic incident. The images are quite disturbing as well. I think we have comprehensively proved through our studies that people do not help road accident victims primarily because of 3 reasons. 1, fear of police harassment. 2, detention at hospitals. And 3, getting sucked into the judicial process. So they obviously are they are apprehensive about it. The same people, you will find that they don't mind helping people when, for example, if it's a train accident, or whether there is a building collapse, or even in fire. We have seen people losing their lives trying to help others. Only when it comes to road accident victims, we have seen that people don't help the victims. And this is primarily because of these 3 impediments. That has been removed now by the Supreme Court judgment. In fact, the Karnataka government went a step ahead. They passed a bill, the Good Samaritan Bill, state-specific for the state of Karnataka. Now, this was done in December 2016, but it has to be made into an act, and that's a process which is still ongoing. What this incident should force is to get the Karnataka government first to make it into an act rather than just remain in paper.
So are we a nation of onlookers? That's the big question we're asking here on The Big Story. And to take it forward, now we're being joined by our special guest activist Brinda Adige from our Bengaluru studios. Brinda Adige, thank you so much as always for taking time out to be with us here on The Big Story of Magic Bricks Now. Apart from all the horrific things like violence against women that we've discussed again and again, this is just violence against humanity in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is something that we were discussing this morning, that this is violence against humanity. There are so many instances where we see the people twittering, going on Facebook, and are willing to go on like and dislike every second. But when it comes to a human being who is in need of a helping hand, the same human beings are not extending that support, not even making a telephone call to the ambulance. And I don't understand what this whole fear is about. Of course, the processes are tedious. They are afraid of the harassment from the police and the courts. But what happened to our humane nature? Everybody is very willing to wear banyans, wear t-shirts saying that humane.
Absolutely.
But there is no humanity in action.
Absolutely. That's the point, isn't it? There's a lot of humanity when it comes to expressing ourselves on Twitter and Facebook, but nothing when it comes to actually doing something to help another human being. Brinda Adige, please hold your thoughts, because we're now being joined on the phone line by the SP of Koppal district, Mr. Vijay Dambal. On the phone line, Mr. Vijay Dambal, thank you so much for speaking to us. Talk to us about this particular case. haven't you got any help from any of this, people who are there on the spot when this man bled to death?
Okay, let me tell you, the accident occurred at 8:40. About 300 meters from there, on a traffic point, one of our traffic constable was there. By the time the information reached him and he reached there, it was 8:49. By that time, these people were nobody, the public, they were not helping him, but they were just clicking the video in their mobiles. But the constable on the way only, he had rang up the 108 ambulance. It reached at 8:50. And he was immediately shifted. But after 3 hours of treatment, he unfortunately succumbed to death.
Mr. Vijay Dambal, I want to ask you this. What exactly stopped the people from calling anybody up? They could have called the police, they could have called the ambulance, they could have called any authority. Is it the lack of trust, in the system that is not, allowing people to even go ahead and take action on something like this?
I think apparently it must be that only, because till now the people are still not aware of that they'll not be touched or they'll not be harassed by the police or by anybody if they help the accident victims. But still that has not gone deep into their senses, because they still feel that if we help them or if we take them to the police station or if we inform the police, then they will be called to the court for evidence and all that. Unfortunately, the awareness created so far, I think it is not sufficient. We need to step up the awareness amongst the people, we as well as NGOs and all other societies and other people. They need to step up this, and I think it may take some more time for people to get aware of it.
Mr. Vijay Dambal, I want to also ask you this. What about the driver who hit the cyclist in the first place? The state transport bus driver, where exactly is he?
He was arrested yesterday and he was bailed out from there.
All right, but what about the case against him? What exactly is the police doing at this point in time on this particular case?
The investigation is going on soon. The investigation will be completed as early as possible, and the charge sheet will be laid against the driver, charging him for the accident.
Okay, and how soon before the charge sheet is filed?
At the most, there are some formalities like there have been procedures like getting the motor vehicle inspector's report of the vehicle and also the death postmortem report of the deceased, and to record the statements of the witnesses there. It may come to around 20-25 days.
All right, Mr. Vijay Dambal, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Big Story Magic Bricks. Now, Superintendent of Police, Mr. Vijay Dambal of Koppal district in Karnataka. I'm just going to take this back to Brinda Adige, our activist who is standing by, who is in our Bengaluru studios. Brinda Adige, we just heard the Superintendent of Police of Koppal out. But the story is quite clear, isn't it? Indian public is still very, very, very hesitant when they have to deal with authorities, when they have to, get into the the nitty-gritties of it all to even help somebody out. Taking somebody to the, somebody like that to the hospital means, getting involved with the police and then getting involved in the judicial system. And it's that trust deficit, really, isn't it?
Yes, the processes are difficult. The processes are tedious and cumbersome. But my question is, what happened to us as human beings? The processes have always been there. There's been cumbersome and tedious procedures. Won't we extend that help? What is this fear? What will the police do? Because we are looking at a life that is asking for help, and we are not willing to extend that help. Not 1 or 2 people, 40 people. The police SP just now said that they would be taking the statements of the witnesses. What statement are you going to take? How is it going to hold water in court? And after all that, I just come back to this whole issue of what are the systems and the structures of governance doing if they are not spreading awareness and instilling this confidence and trust in the people to say, extend the help. There will be nothing that will be done to you. The hospitals have also refused, several times they have refused taking in accident victims. And that is a responsibility hospitals are unwilling to take. And this is an experience that I have myself had, but we've also seen several times that hospitals do not take accident victims. They say, they give all kinds of excuses, including saying we do not have the wherewithal, we don't have the machinery and the technology, so go somewhere else. The system needs to pull them up. They have to be held accountable. And the structures that be need to start taking responsibility.
All right. Isn't also, Brinda, isn't this the same, the mentality or the same problem that affects, people when it comes to making complaints, when it comes to women's safety, or for the matter, general, any public safety? It is just the same reason, right? I mean, when it comes to the, say, the Bengaluru night of horror, so many people over there, but still we're trying so hard to nab the culprits.
Absolutely. Unwilling to go and make the complaint, and when the complaints have been made, there has been no action immediately taken, and that is also something that probably the public are reluctant, hesitant to go and make this complaint. But at that point, we also want to keep asking why this responsibility is being shirked by the authorities, by the people who have the mandate to extend that protection, extend that support and that help, because the state has the primary responsibility towards safety and protection. Here, of course, we are looking at the apathy, but I'm also looking at cruelty. How can we human beings just stand there clicking photographs, taking videos and posting it, and other human beings clicking a like or a dislike to all of it and allowing a life to go away? Where is the dignity to human life? Where is our respect to human life? And this is a responsibility each and every citizen of this nation has to answer, along with the government and the structures that be.
All right, Brinda, please hold your thoughts, because we're now being joined on the phone line by Mr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of UP on the phone line. Mr. Vikram Singh, thank you so much for spending your time here on the big story on Magic Bricks. Now, talk to us as a police officer, as a former police officer. How do you view an accident, an incident like this?
Yet another horrible human tragedy, totally avoidable. What can I say about the characteristics of the passive, I wouldn't say passive, but active bystanders in a negative manner who are taking selfies without coming to the rescue of the person who's so critically injured? The police now have an option not to look the other way, but to prosecute those people who not only took selfies, but obstructed the ambulance and the police from being the first responders, taking the injured to the hospital, and perhaps he would have been alive today if medical aid had been given to him. Obviously, they obstructed and cut off the view of the injured, obstructed the ambulance, obstructed the police from intervening, and unfortunately, the poor victim had to die. The Good Samaritan law, by the Supreme Court, is very clear that no hospital, no police officer, no law enforcement agency can obstruct or question or harass or humiliate a Good Samaritan. Therefore, no Good Samaritan should have any cause of apprehension and should not worry about being proactive and do good deed to a person who's critically injured in an accident.
Mr. Vikram Singh, you are saying that the onlookers over there who are taking selfies can be prosecuted. But the question we're asking here is that isn't this the general case in India, when the general public is hesitant, is in fact afraid even of getting themselves involved with the authorities for the sake of somebody else's life?
To the whole tragedy, a person is bleeding, and I'm more concerned about Facebook and Twitter posts. What is more important, a human life or a Facebook or a Twitter post? I think Facebook and Twitter can wait. Human life is for anybody who is overtaking selfies in such horrible incidents or accidents need to be prosecuted.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Vikram Singh, on that note, thank you so much for taking time out to share your thoughts with us here on the big story on Magic Bricks. Now, Brinda, we just heard Mr. Vikram Singh tell us that these people, these onlookers, can be prosecuted as well, because at the end of the day, it's their the law permits them to not be harassed. If they have a problem, they can take it up, but they have no business at all clicking selfies and tweeting about it and Facebooking about it. In fact, it's news to me that they can even be prosecuted.
I agree with Mr. Vikram. I think a precedent should be set, because if you look at it technically, it does mean abetment to cruelty, abetment to somebody's death. And if we have those legislations with us, I think we should start prosecuting onlookers, start prosecuting these people who, without any qualms, are willing to take all of these videos and photographs without extending help, because it does amount to somebody who is being treated to a form of cruelty. And The death, let it be an abatement. Yes, I think it is necessary. We seem to have become a nation that is unwilling to look at our civic roles, our civic responsibilities, and want to be guided more and more by legislations. So be it. Because I understand that now we are unwilling to take responsibility for our freedom. We are unwilling to take responsibility for another fellow human being. And that means we should be punished.
Absolutely. We should be punished. We here on the show always talk about, which politician, which bureaucrat, which officer needs to be punished. But today is the moment when we realize the fact that even we as people deserve to be punished when we do such acts of cruelty. In fact, we're now being joined on the phone line by Abha Singh, lawyer and activist. Abha Singh, thank you so much, as always, for being with us here on the big story on Magic Bricks. Now, we just heard Mr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of UP, tell us that these people who are there, taking pictures and tweeting and Facebooking it, they're liable to be prosecuted. Talk to us in terms of how law deals with that.
See, at the moment, we don't have a law under which the onlookers who are taking videos can be punished, because public apathy is very obvious and common even in cases where women are being molested or sexually assaulted, but no onlooker comes forward, as it happened in Haryana when those girls jumped from the bus and got killed, but no onlooker came and tried to help her when the bus conductor tried to molest her. So I think, and as it is, law is not retrospective, so we cannot punish them under any law, but the parliament needs to look into it, and as there is a good Samaritan law, something like that needs to come in, where at least people who come forward and help should be punished, should be applauded and be given some cash compensation or something, or like public apathy be made an offence. Only if we say that if you are there on the site of a crime or a thing, you don't help a person who's hit by road rage or who's hit in a road accident, if you don't help, it would be an offence. So till the time we don't have a law like that, these onlookers cannot be penalized, because the country is governed by law, although they can be condemned, but no law as such is there to penalize them.
In that case, Abha, isn't it time we bring about a law like that? Because we have Brinda Adige as well with us, and she was just telling us that, when we as people do something like this, or rather be inactive when something like this is happening right in front of our eyes, we should be punished.
Definitely, I think it's time that we made people, citizens of India, accountable, and a law must come that if you see a person who's dying but you don't come and help, you can be at least fined, if not jailed. A heavy fine can be imposed. That sort of a law can be brought in, and it is high time that the Parliament, the Law Commission, looked into it and at least imposed a heavy fine on the people who are present at the site of crime or an accident like this and don't come forward and help.
All right, Abha Singh and of course our very own Brinda Adige, thank you both of you ladies for taking time out to be with us here on The Big Story, just to remind us that even as we here on the show keep discussing how other people need to be punished, we deserve to be punished as well when we don't do our duty as human beings. Away from that and on to the other big story, this one from Chennai. The city now is uniting to fight a toxic oil spill that has put marine life and local fishermen at risk. Telling visuals, as you can see on your screens over there, it's estimated that over 20 tons of oil spilled after two ships collided. The accident that happened 5 days ago has now grown to colossal proportions. Coast guards, local fishermen and volunteers are now working together to clean the mess up. Nearly 30 kilometers of coastal land, including the famous Marina Beach, has been affected. And earlier in the day, my colleague Shweta, who was at the Ennur Creek near Chennai, where the spill took place, and she got us this ground report from there. Take a look.
Oil spill took place when two ships collided together in the Ennur port. This incident occurred 6 days ago, and since then there is no sign of development here. Relief operations have been going on, and they are using buckets to clear the spill from the spot. There is an absence of specialized equipments here. Also, the fishermen's livelihood has been affected, and they demand a compensation from the government. Also, the oil spill has been spread 35 kilometers along the coastal line. Authorities have to take swift action, and this is what the fishermen want. In Chennai, Shweta for Magic Bricks now.
As Chennai fights the oil spill, we also spoke to a few heroes who have been hard at work scooping out the sludge and trying to clean up the beach. Take a look at this.
All of us have pulled in our efforts to get the oil out of the sea. Till now, from 29th, we have got 60 tons of crude oil, which has been put in 1,000 liters, 500 liters and 200 liters drums. And from here, they are being dispatched out and fresh drums are coming here. Right now, 60 tons have been purely removed manually. Some 54 tons has been collected by Super Sucker of Metro Chennai. Maybe a day or two, majority of the oil will be out, and subsequently the rock oil which is there, which is, you can see right in front of you, has to be hot washed, cleaned with pressure oil so that it goes down and it is recollected. We have already issued a warning under Merchant Shipping Act to the ship owners. Ship owners are reacting to it. The ship which was having 38,000 metric tons of oil is under Anwar Port control. It is a liability of the ship owners. So they have come across, they have got the technical advisor from UK. They have got a firm which has come from Bangalore. Though they are 5 days late, but nevertheless they are adding muscle to the efforts what we are doing.
Now, the oil spill has put marine life at risk, severely impacting the livelihood of the fisher folk over there. My colleague Shweta gets us this report on their lives and how it has been affected.
இந்த எண்ணெய்னால எங்களுக்கு தொழில் ரொம்ப பாதிக்கப்படுது. இதனால என்ன செய்யனா மீன் இத பத்தி வந்து வதந்தி கைப்பி விட்டாங்க. மீன் வந்து இது எண்ணெயை குடிச்சிச்சு, எண்ணெயை சாப்பிட்டுச்சு. அதனால மீன் வந்து யாரும் வாங்க கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. எங்களுக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா நாங்க தொழிலுக்கு போனா யாருமே இந்த மீனை வாங்க மாட்டாங்க. எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப லாஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு.
தொழிலுக்கு வந்து நாங்க போக முடியாத அளவுக்கு ஒரு வாரம் ஆச்சுங்க இந்த எண்ணெய் பாதிப்புனால. ஆனா மீன் பிடிச்சிட்டு வந்தா கூட எங்களுக்கு சரியா விற்க மாதிரி எங்க கூட்டு குடும்பம்லாம் வந்து பாதிக்கப்படுது. தொழிலுக்கு போறதுக்கு கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. அப்படியே போயிட்டு வந்தா கூட யாரும் ஜனங்க மீன் வாங்க மாட்டாங்க. அப்ப குடும்பம் எப்படி போறதுக்கு? எங்க குடும்பம் எப்படி நாங்க பொழைக்கிறது? எங்களுக்கு வந்து கவர்மெண்ட் எங்களுக்கு உதவி பண்ணணும். அதுதாங்க.
Monday onwards, we are utilizing some 10 departments of state government along with Coast Guard. We are removing oil spillage. As of now, we have removed 45 metric ton and another 20 metric ton we have to remove, we presume. We hope by this evening we'll be able to complete. Nearly we have some 1,000 staff belonging to fishermen, fisheries department, revenue and RD rural development and Coast Guard, fire and rescue and highways. So 1,000 is more than enough for this place.
Connected to all departments, merely 15 departments involved in this, and totally 1,500 employees daily they are working. You might be seen in that area, that Ennur area, Ramakrishna Nagar. So what luckily the oil actually not float in the mid sea. So being in a density actually more, it actually comes to the shore, that to the bay. The bay means actually small bay, because of the groins created by the state government for the purpose of sea erosion. So in that area the oil has been collected. So we actually with the human power totally actually up to date 60 tons of oil actually we taken into custody and fully filled up with the barrel and in the custody barrel. So another 20 tons maybe in that area, that will be removed shortly. We have created WhatsApp group. So district collector is the coordinator, Chennai and Thiruvallur district. So all are coordinating. There is no question of non-cooperation.
And with that, it's a wrap here on The Big Story here on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.